All right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the 12 tribes of Yasha Allah, giving the course all honor, glory, and praise unto the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who the world refers to as Jesus Christ, and He is the Savior of the nation of Israel. Shalom, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom to the 12 that's observing it Friday, sundown, Saturday, sundown, through the Spirit. Another day of praying, another day of laboring, another day of congregating with like-minded individuals that are in the truth, man. So all praise to the Most High. All right, and essentially, it's like your brother Yashala, and so essentially, we'd be going into we're going to take a break from Second Esdras, the 5th chapter, for a little bit, just because we do have the all rank, all body class early in the morning. Brothers do have to get up early for that tomorrow morning, as well as other obligations that brothers have. So we want to keep it a little shorter today, right? We're going to keep it a little shorter today through the Spirit. All right. So without a further ado, all right. Without a further ado, let's get into it. All right. Um, I want to kick it off with the book, right? We'll kick it off with the book of Slack. Let me pull this up real quick. Right. Let's kick it off with the book of Acts, right? Chapter 18. Right, let's go to Acts chapter 18. Salakia, rule of the Bible. Acts chapter 18 and verse number 3. Right. This is Acts chapter 18, verse number 3. And because he was of the same craft, he abode with them and wrought, for by their occupation they were tent makers. And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks. So that's what we're trying to do. A lot of times in these videos is either for exhortation or persuasion of both the Jews and the Greeks. The Jews and the Greeks, the Jews on a spiritual level will be talking about Israelites that already know they're Israel. Okay. They know the truth. And the Greeks will be talking about Israelites that don't know their nationality, don't know that they're actually Israelites or in a Greek mind state. All right. A Gentile heathenistic mind state. And so we're doing this video because it's kind of a direct response to WFILA's recent video. Um, and this is kind of like the motivation, right? This is kind of the motivation of where this comes from. Okay. The reason why we're going into Esau tonight is because of this, right? Salakia. Let's go to the channel. Okay. And this is really the video that I'm referring to, with it, or kind of am drawing my motivation to do this video off of. Now it's all the spirit, right? But this is where it kind of stems from on a physical level. And so in this video, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Okay. Well, check out all the videos, right? But in this one in specific, this is where Esau calls us pigs, man. The audacity of a beast calling an Israelite a pig, right? This is the audacity, the pride of Esau, right? Because Esau, he is a beast, right? Let's get precepts on how Esau is a beast, first of all, right? Not even disregarding the history. When you go into the history of Esau, how they talk about he was in a beast-like state in the Caucasus Mountains. Not even regarding that history, but kind of delving deep into the Bible. Let's go into Psalms chapter 49, right? Let's go to Psalms 49. That's how Esau is a beast according to the Bible. Psalms chapter 49 and verse 20. Man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beast that perish. So Esau is like a beast because he's in honor. He's held up highly in this society. A lot of people, if we speak badly about the so-called Caucasian, right, the Edomite, then we're demonized for that. We can't talk about white people like that. Not all white people are bad. You're going off. Why are you speaking about them like that? So essentially, you know, Esau is in honor right now. He's ruling the world. It says, man that is in honor and understand if not, he doesn't understand the Bible. That's why when you go to Blue Letter Bible, Salakia, not Blue Letter Bible, when you go to Psalm chapter 50, right, and 16, it says what? But unto the wicked, God saith. This is what the Most High is saying to the wicked. What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. What is instruction? The law, the Torah, right? Essentially, this whole Bible. Is it not rightly given the acronym of basic instructions before leaving earth? The Bible is the book of instructions of how to live your life godly, right? That's what it is. So Esau, he hates instruction, man. He hates it. And so by hating instruction, he hates the wisdom of the Most High, right? Let's go to Job. I got a precept on that in Job. Because Job goes deep into the wicked. There's a lot of good verses about the wicked in Job. So let's go to let's see here. Job, right? Yeah, come. This is Job chapter 22 and verse 16. Right, let's go to Job 22 and 16. 22 and 16. Right. This is Job chapter 22 and verse 16. Actually, I'm gonna start at verse 13. It says, and thou sayest, how doth God know? Can he judge through the dark cloud? So this is Esau's mindset. This is the mindset of the wicked. They ask these questions like, how does the Most High know? How would he know anything? Can he see through the dark clouds? Can he judge through the dark clouds? Where is he at? That's Esau, right? He says, thick clouds are a covering to him, right? Salakia, hold on. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this up real quick. So I can take a look if we're good or not. All right, okay, come. Right? All praises. Okay, come. So it says, thick clouds are a covering to him that he seeth not, and he walketh in the circuit of heaven. Hast thou marked the old way which maketh wicked men have trodden, which were cut out of time, whose foundation was overthrown with a flood? So the wicked has been here for millennia. The same spirit that Esau comes with is the same spirit that they are coming with back even during the time of Adam. Okay, because you had the serpent that was in the garden amongst the beasts of the field. And that's also another precept to show how Esau is likened onto a beast. Because when you go to real quick, just kind of diverting to that, all right, even though the serpent in the garden isn't specifically Esau, this would be the same spirit. The serpent has the same spirit that Esau does have. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. So the serpent, again, is a beast, right? When you look up the word beast, for example, let's look that up. It says an animal, especially a large or dangerous four-footed one, a domestic animal, an animal as opposed to a human, right? So yeah, a snake is definitely an animal. So you could technically call it a beast. And so this serpent is a beast right here, and he's more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. Meaning Esau, when it comes to all the other nations, when it comes to all the beasts of the field, he's the most subtle. He is the most cunning. He's the most wise on the left-hand side, wise to do evil. He's the top in terms of that. He's the top beast of the earth, right? Whereas Ishmael, he has certain standards that he won't go past. Whereas Moab has certain standards according to his culture and his beliefs. He's not going to go past those beliefs. right? At least Moab, Ishmael, Ham, all the other nations have a certain level of dignity. They have a certain level of respect for certain people. You know what I'm saying? They play by certain rules that they're not going to overpass. Esau, he doesn't care about any of that. He's going to get it any way he can, right? Without any standard. So Esau, and also when you look into this word for subtle, right? Let's look at it in the Hebrew first, and then we'll pull it up in the English. So, subtle, what does that word mean? It says subtle, shrewd, crafty, sly. So he's sly. That's why he's likened onto a snake. Esau is likened onto a snake. He's likened onto a beast. You understand? Because a beast has no type of shame, right? They don't have shame like how you have shame. A dog, for example, he will pee anywhere. But a person just peeing out in public, hey, that's a very shameful thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, beasts, they're not relegated to the same level as a man or a woman. That's even in Genesis, the first chapter, that man should have the dominion over the earth. And so, even though Esau is considered a man, because Esau does come from men, right? Men and women, Isaac and Jacob, Isaac and Rebekah. Esau is still likened metaphorically and spiritually onto a beast because of his beast-like nature, right? Let's go to subtle in the English. Subtle. It says obsolete form of subtle, sly, artful, cunning. Yeah, so he's cunning, he's crafty, right? He knows how to catch you with guile. He knows how to manipulate you, right? He's a psychopath. He's a Machiavellian, right? I believe that's the word. Machiavellian, right? He's a narcissist. Machiavellianism, if I'm saying that correctly. So he can manipulate you. He can cunning. He's very cunning. He can think strategically on the left-hand side. All of these characteristics right here is actually Esau. It's describing a typical Edomite, right? It's describing a typical Edomite. He may have charm. He may have influence. Well, he has a lot of influence. We see the influence that Esau has upon the nations, the suit and the tie, everything else, the culture, and not only the influence of it, but he's forcing that in his ideology upon all nations, right? So the levels of Esau, it goes deep, right? It does go deep. But all of these traits right here, right? Um, Even going into narcissism, self-centeredness, he portrays himself as God, right? Lack of empathy. That's shown all throughout Esau's history. Sense of entitlement that goes into what? White privilege. Is that exaggerated self-importance, attention-seeking behavior? So all of these things, it does relate to Esau, right? Um, Essentially, it's like Esau's characteristics, all right, and his personality and his spirit, all right. That's why he's likened onto a beast. But it's like you're going back into this, Job chapter 22 and verse 16, because again, beasts, they don't have to keep the commandments. They don't have a sense of you know, uh, uh, willingness to keep the commandments because the commandments were not given to any type of animal, right? You don't see monkeys that swing on trees keeping the Sabbath day, or if they see a pig, they're not going to eat it. Or it's like maybe a monkey is not a good example. Let's take the lion. A lion is a beast of the field. He doesn't care whether or not that animal that he's chasing after is a pig or some other type of animal. If it's clean according to the Levitical law, he's going to eat it, right? As long as it's edible and he wants to eat it, he's going to eat it, right? So they're not bound to the law like how Israel is bound to the law. When I say bound to the law, I mean the the essentially the willingness and the essentially requirement for Israel to keep the law is not set upon any other animal, only upon really humans. And when you get into the specific of humans, it's Israel. But it says what? Which were cut out of time, whose foundation was overthrown with a flood, which said unto God, depart from us, and what can the Almighty do for them? Yet he filled their houses with good things, but the counsel of the wicked is far from me. So essentially, um, the Most High, right? The Most High is telling us how Esau said unto the Most High, depart from us, and what can the Almighty do for them? Esau literally rejected the Most High. He said, depart from us. We don't care about the Most High, right? So that's Esau, and he doesn't understand the Bible. So that's why the Most High asks that question in Psalm chapter 50, saying, you hate instruction. You're the one that hated instruction. You're the one that chose sin over me. You're the one that wanted to have Satan to rule over you. Back in Genesis the 4th chapter with Cain, right? Cain has the same spirit of Esau, just like how Abel had that same spirit of Jacob, right? It's that same thing. It's a parallel, right? Cain slew Abel. He had a hatred towards him. Esau had a hatred towards Jacob, right? That's Genesis chapter 20. Let's get that real quick, right? Genesis 27. It's a book of Genesis chapter 27. I'm gonna just read it real quick for the sake of time. Genesis chapter 27 and verse number 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So Esau, it says that Esau hated Jacob, right? He hated him because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And when you go into that in a spiritual level, when you go to Genesis chapter 3, it's like in Genesis chapter 4, Cain was I should say more or less jealous, right? Kind of like that same spirit of Esau, right? Esau, he was on the low. He was jealous of the Jacob because Jacob got the blessing and he didn't get that blessing that he wanted, that he so quote unquote wanted. But he sold that both. But going back into the story, he sold that birthright to Jacob. He said, "What does this birthright even do for me? I don't care about it. I'm gonna just give it away to Jacob." And then he lied to Isaac, saying that Jacob took his birthright when he really didn't. And that's Esau for you, right? But when you go to Genesis chapter 4 and verse number 3, it says, in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. So Cain was very, very wroth, right? Just like Esau, when you read Genesis chapter 27, Esau was very angry that Jacob got the blessing and he didn't get a blessing. And he was all crying, saying unto Isaac, go and give me a blessing too, right? Have you not but one blessing, O my father? Bless me also. So Esau was very mad and angry that Jacob was, that Jacob got the blessing and that he didn't get that blessing, that initial blessing, right? And with the same thing, it's the same thing with Cain. The Most High had respect unto Abel, and he blessed Abel, but he didn't have any respect for Cain and for his offering. And that's why Cain was very angry. You see that? And ultimately slew his brother. And First John even talks about that. But let's go to Genesis 4 and 6. It says, and the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance fallen? Why are you angry that you literally are deliberately disobeying my word? Why are you getting angry? Right? Verse 7. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So it says, I mean, if you do well, aren't you going to be accepted? If you just keep the commandments and the law and the faith, you'll be accepted. But if you don't want to do well, then sin lies at the door. You want to go ahead and sin. All right, go ahead. Fine. You're going to open that door of sin. It says, and unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. Meaning, Satan is going to rule over you, and your desire shall be to Satan, man. And that's what Esau chose from the very beginning through the spirit of Cain. All right. So that's why when Esau, came upon the earth, he chose again that same thing. He chose Satan again because it's in his spirit to do so. All right. That's why he has no business even proclaiming the words of the Most High in his mouth, because he didn't want to roll with the Most High in the first place. Right. So it doesn't make any sense, when you go back, like for this video, and Esau trying to take the words of the Most High into his mouth. What business do you have the words of the Most High into your mouth? Right? You rejected the Most High. You didn't even want to be with the Most High. All right. But let's go to Psalm chapter 50 and verse number 18. It says, when thou sawest a thief, then thou contendest with him, and has been partaker with adulterers. Meaning that this other thief is talking about the other nations. Right? It says, then thou consentest with him, and has been partaker with adulterers. It's talking about these other nations. When Esau saw these other nations, he consulted with them, right? And essentially conspired against us, conspired against Israel, right? Let's go to Psalms chapter 83, right? This is the book of Psalms. This is the book of Psalms chapter 83 and verse number 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be still, O God. Be not still, O God, Salakia. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So all these nations have consulted together with one consent, and they're confederate against Israel. Verse 6, the tabernacles of Edom. So that's the first enemy that's listed in Psalm chapter 83, tabernacles of Edom. And the Ishmaelites. So the Ishmaelites is the second. Of Moab and of the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot to Lah. So essentially, all these nations are conspiring against us together and with one consent. This consent is to cut off Israel from being a nation, which they have done, right? But the Most High is restoring the nation as we speak. And essentially to just conspire against the Most High's chosen people. That's the mindset of Esau. And we see that right here in Psalm chapter 15, verse 18. See, it's not going to say Esau verbatim right here. It's not. It's not going to say Esau verbatim. But you got to read this in the spirit. These are dark sayings. And you can't read dark sayings without having the light. All right. You got to have the light of the Lord in order to read these sayings. All right. And to understand them. And that's something that Esau doesn't have, is the light of the Most High, right? Therefore, he can't understand them. So let's go to Judith, for example, right? Let's get an example. Judith, chapter 5, right? Let's go to Judith, chapter 5, and verse number, let's see here. This is Judith, chapter 5, and verse number 17. And wildest, it says, wildest they sin not before their God. They prosper, because the God that hateth iniquity was with them. It says, but when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs. And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies. But now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they are were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where the sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. Right now, I wanted to get the precept real quick, um, where it shows us which nations were here. Right. Let's see here, Slovakia. Right. Um. Yeah, this is Slovakia, Judith. Right, chapter 5. Right, and verse number 1, it says, then it declared to Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Assur, that the children of Israel had prepared for war, and had shut up the passages of the hill country, and had fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impudence in the champion countries, wherewith he was very angry, and called all the princes of Moab, and the princes, Slakia, the captains of Ammon, and all the governors of the sea coast, right? So essentially, he's calling all these different nations together. And if I'm not mistaken, this was Moab, right? It was Ammon. I think Esau was even here, right? Because Esau conspired with Babylon, right? Let's get that precept as well. So these nations, they all come together as one, to take down the children of the Most High, right? They always try to do that. In fact, when you go deeply into it, they've always tried to do that ever since Genesis. They conspired against Adam to take him down from his throne, because the serpent in the wilderness, that wasn't just some spontaneous event. That was planned, right? In the spirit, we know that that was planned. Because why did he go to Eve instead of Adam? He knew that he could get through Adam through Eve. Right? If he got to Eve, he can get to Adam. But if he just went to Adam straightly, he wouldn't be able to break him. So he had to get to his rib in order to break him down, and then to kind of eat and consume of that sin. And there came the fall of mankind and the rise of the wicked. Right? Let's go to another verse. This is Obadiah, chapter 1. Right? This is Obadiah, chapter 1, and verse number Obadiah 1:11, it says, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. You see that? So Esau was he was there. He was there when we were being destroyed by Babylon. He was there. He stood on the other side. It says, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. So Esau was trying to get into that. All right. He's like, oh damn. So y'all destroying Jerusalem? Yeah, let me kind of get into that. Let me get into that as well. It says, but thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. It says, thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. You see that? Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off of those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. So essentially what he would do also was Esau would catch the runaway captives and runaway slaves, right, from Babylon, from the destruction. And he would kind of catch us that were running away. So Esau, I mean, again, it's no saving him, man. And that's why I kind of pulled up this video. Because a lot of people still want to save Esau, right? They still want to save him, you know? But we're going through the precepts and showing how he can't be saved. And the initial point through the spirit, the initial point was, right? So like here. The initial point was that Esau is a beast. All right, the Lord is not coming to save beast. Right? He's just not coming to do that. He's coming to save the children of Israel. All right. What's a precept on that? Let's go to the book of Luke. All right. All right. This is Luke. Right. Let's see here. Right. I want to get a precept in here. Right. This is a Luke chapter 2. I think this is the one I wanted, but I think there's another one as well. But I'll read this as well, though. Right. Right. Okay, so well, this is one as well. This is one as well. Right. Okay, well, I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this as well. This is Luke chapter 2 and verse number 25. And behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon, and the same man was just and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was upon him. So what does that mean? Because a lot of people, they kind of skip over that, waiting for the consolation of Israel. So let's go into this word for consolation. Right? If I'm saying that right, it says a calling near summons, right? Instruction. A consolation, comfort, solace, that which affords comfort or refreshment. Salakia. It says, thus of the messianic salvation, so the rabbis call the Messiah the consoler, the comforter. You see that? So essentially, console, the consolation of Israel, the comfort of Israel. Who's the comfort of Israel? That would be talking about Yahweh, right? And he said he was waiting. He was always waiting for the Messiah to come. That's what that's talking about. Waiting for the consolation of Israel. He was waiting for Yahweh to come. It says, and it was revealed unto him by the Holy Spirit that he should not see death before he had seen the Lord's Christ. That's the consolation of Israel. All right. Not the consolation of all nations. Right. Yahweh is the consolation of Israel. So why not from the start did it just say the consolation of the whole world, even Esau and all the nations? It said the Yahweh is called the consolation of Israel in specific, right? One nation. And he came by the Spirit into the temple. And when the parents brought in the child Yahweh to do for him after the custom of the law, then took he up in his arms and blessed the Most High and said, Lord, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace according to thy word, for mine eyes have seen thy salvation, which thou hast prepared before the face of all people, a light to lighten to the Gentiles and the glory of thy people Israel. You see that? So it's talking about Israel. Now, I know a lot of people say the Gentiles are talking about other nations. Well, guess what? Yahweh is a light to Israel, right? Yahweh is a light to Israel. And yes, is it prophesied that in the kingdom of heaven, the light should come to the other nations? Well, actually, I should say this: the light, the other nations will have to come to our light, right? That's true, but that's not now. See, it's Israel first, and then in the kingdom of heaven, the other nations would have to come up to Israel to receive the light. So in the kingdom of heaven, yes, all nations would have to bow down to Yahweh, whether they like it or not, and they would have to keep the commandments of the Most High. But the light is still in Israel. That's undoubted. Undoubtedly, the light is coming from Israel. The other nations don't have the light. They have to go to Israel to get the light, right? So that's just something to understand. But this is talking about in specific Israelite foreigners. All right. But again, the point is the consolation of Israel is talking about Yahweh Shah. Right. Paul kind of expounds on this as well. Let's go to Acts chapter 26. This is Acts chapter 26 and verse number 6. Right. It says, "And now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made of God unto our fathers, unto which promise are 12 tribes, instantly serving the Most High day and night, hope to come. For which hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews." You see that? So he's saying this is the same promise that our 12 tribes, instantly serving God day and night, hope to come. What's the promise? The promise is Yahweh Shah coming to save Israel. That's the promise. So it wasn't some mystery, I should say. It wasn't some secret that there should come a Messiah to save Israel from the hand of their enemies. It wasn't, everybody was waiting for that in Israel. It says, unto which promise are 12 tribes, hope to come. And now he has come. Yahweh Shah, right? The Messiah. That's why they call him the Christ, the anointed one. Let's go to Acts chapter 28, verse 20. This is Acts chapter 28, verse 20. "For this cause, therefore, have I called for you to see you and to speak with you, because that for the hope of Israel I am bound with this chain." The hope of Israel. Meaning, who's the hope of Israel? Yahweh Shah. Because of his faith in Yahweh Shah, he is bound with this chain. Because he was put on house arrest in this chapter. Right? So it's not the hope of Esau. All right, because since we just dealing with Esau. All right. So nevertheless, going back to that, the salvation is only for Israel in the first place. Okay. So that's why we say Esau can't make it. Because, you're not Israelite, the salvation is not for you. That's according to the Bible, right? That's not according to what we feel, right? That's not according to, something that we just made up. That's literally what the Bible is saying, all right? But nevertheless, let me keep going into this. Psalm chapter 50 and verse number 19. "Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son." So Esau, he sits and speaks against us. His brother would be talking about Jacob. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Does not Esau speak wickedly concerning oppression? Let's get that. This is Psalm chapter 73 and verse number let's start at verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. So Edomites are not plagued like other men, right? Because they don't get the chastisement of the Most High. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than their heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. You see that? They speak loftily. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. That's them speaking against us, right? Let's get Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2. And verse number 12. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objective to our infamy, the transgressions of our education. So Esau, this is what he does, right? This is what he does. He lies in wait for the righteous. He speaks ill of us. He speaks against us, right? We see what Esau does on the day to day, speaking against Esau. I'm just like he's speaking against Jacob all the time, whether it be racism, whether it be, you know, um, about oppression, whether it be lies. That's what Esau does all the time, right? Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Let's keep going. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. So the Most High, he kept silence. Thou thoughtest thou was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. You see that? So the Most High kept silence, meaning that we don't see the Most High judging Esau right now. It may seem like the Most High is keeping silence. It may seem like the Most High was really with Esau during the time of the Renaissance, during the time of the transatlantic slave trade of the 1500s, during the time of the building up of America, 1600s. It may have seemed like the Most High was really with them, even going into what? Doctrine of discovery, right? Let's look that up. Doctrine of discovery, right? It refers to a principle in public international law under which when a nation discovers land, it directly acquires rights on that land. So, quote unquote, discovers the land, right? But there are already people over here, and those people will be Gad, right? Reuben, the northern kingdom of Israel, right? The doctrine of discovery. You see that? Also what? Manifest destiny. Right? It is our destiny by God, right? By the Most High to essentially take this land. That was Esau's mindset. Manifest destiny was the idea that white Americans were divinely ordained to settle the entire continent of North America. The ideology of manifest destiny inspired a variety of measures designed to remove or destroy the native population. You see that? It was supposedly a God given right. Manifest destiny was the belief that the United States had the divine right to expand westward, and that all such exploration and expansion was God ordained. You see? So Esau literally thought that the Most High was with him. All right. One nation under God. But the Most High said, I'm going to reprove him and show him that I'm not with him. Right. Even in Revelation 3 and verse 9, it says, I'll make them to come and worship at thy feet and to know that I have loved thee. I didn't love these people. I loved you this whole time. Talking about Israel. Right. But Salaki, again, Psalms 49 and 20. Man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beast that peers. Yeah, so the Most High, he's not coming to save beast. He's not coming to save Esau. He's coming to save Israel. All right. And that's just what certain people just don't understand, or they choose not to understand it. Right. They choose not to understand it because it goes against the agenda. It goes against the inclusiveness, the inclusivity, right? The inclusive doctrine that we're all one, right? See, Christianity and multiculturalism, um, essentially the type of melting pot, all right? The melting pot way of America, they go hand in hand, right? They go hand in hand. So America is a melting pot of all different nations and cultures, right? You have cultural pluralism, which is, let me kind of look that up real quick. So let me pull it up on the screen first. But you have what's called, cultural pluralism, and we'll get the definition of that. All right. It says cultural pluralism is a term used when smaller groups within a larger society maintain their unique cultural identities, whereby their values and practices are accepted by the dominant culture, provided such are consistent with the laws and values of the wider society. So, an example of that, let's see what that example is. It says the United States is an example of cultural pluralism. In the country as a whole, there are different communities with their own cultural background, immigrants from all over the world living in the same country, right? So let's take New York, for example. You have Chinatown. In Chinatown, they have a whole bunch of their culture going around. They even have parades in terms of the Chinese New Year, the lunar year. You have parts of New York where it's a large amount of Ephraim and Simeon. So Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Caribbeans, etc. And they have their own type of culture with the flag, the food, the music, etc. The way they dressed, it's just certain traditions and beliefs. They have that, and this is the same city. This is still New York City. This is not outside of the city. This is the same city. So that's cultural pluralism in effect, and it kind of ties into the essentially the melting pot of America, right? Let's look that up as well. The melting pot of America, right? Right. America's a melting pot, right, of all different nations and cultures. Here we go. Here we go, man. Satan trying to hinder the live, man. Right? It's all good. All right. But nevertheless, let's get that. All right. We get a precept in Joel. Right? This is the book of Joel. It's Joel chapter 1. Right? Let's see here. This is Joel chapter 1. And verse number. Right. Hold on. Let's see here. Yeah, actually. Okay, Khan, Salakia. Let me read this real quick first. Right. It says the melting pot is at the heart of the American immigration system. The melting pot comes from the idea that all the cultural differences in the United States melt together, as if they were metals being melted down to become a stronger alloy. So essentially, all nations come in the center place called America, called Babylon the Great. That's why it's called Babylon, right? Because Babylon means confusion. That's where you had the Tower of Babel. At the Tower of Babel, you had what? Essentially, all nations come together and to build a tower, to live amongst each other, to come together. So this has always been the mindset of the wicked to bring all nations together, which the Most High does not delight in. That's why he separated the sons of Adam in the first place, pursuant to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 8. Right? I can't find this precept, so we'll keep going on that. Right? Damn. Can't find this precept. Must be looking right at it, but can't see it. Right? So nevertheless, I'm stop sharing my screen. But that's really it on that. Right? That's really it on that. We can go into the other precepts about how Esau can't make it. Like I said, it's just a quick video, quick, essentially spiritual food for Israel, going into the fact about how Esau cannot be saved. Consolation of Israel, salvation of Israel is for it is Yahweh is only for Israel, right? We understand that Esau is likened unto a beast. Esau rejected the Most High, and in rejecting the Most High, right, the Most High rejected him. And so again, there's no change in that, right? It's no change in the prophecies. Obadiah has about 2 or 3 prophecies going into about how Esau will be exterminated. So how can he be saved? When you watch the video with me just dealing with that Edomite in that video, he's under the false narrative that just because Christ came in the New Testament and because we're under the new covenant, which we're not under the new covenant yet, but a lot of Christians believe that we're under the new covenant. So by saying that, they believe that the Old Testament is just done away with. They literally believe that. They're not going to say it. They're not going to say it. But when we bring out prophecies about Esau and how he will be destroyed, for example, the big one, Obadiah 1:18, they just say, well, that's Old Testament. What are you trying to say by saying that's Old Testament? Right? Khan, Shalom, King, Shalom. Right? What are you trying to say by saying that's Old Testament? Right? That's what the dude told me in the video. Right? He said, well, Esau, that's Old Testament. What does that have to do with anything? Right? So they're under the false narrative that because Christ came under the New Testament, now he has abolished all those prophecies. Well, according to the words of Yahweh Shah, he said, think not that I am come to destroy the law of the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. So he only came to fulfill these prophecies and the law of the Most High. He didn't come to destroy any prophecy, right? Only came to fulfill it. He said that out of his own mouth. So, I mean, how much clearer do we need it? How much clearer do we need it? And the brother pulled a precept. Let's get that. John 5 and verse 26. All right. John 5 and 26. It says, for as the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given to the Son to have life in himself. And he hath given him authority to execute judgment also, because he is the Son of Man. And even on that, Esau will come and judge Esau. All right. Let's go to Obadiah, right? Let's go to Obadiah. Because again, Nahum says he would not ever acquit the wicked, right? Oh, Salaki, brother wanted verse 46. Salaki. Let me read that too. Well, that was a spirit then. Right? That was a spirit. But you could tell brothers are tired, man. See that? John 5 and verse 46. For had he believed Moses, he would have believed me, for he wrote of me. Yeah, so exactly. Right? That's right, man. You would have, if in following Yahushua and believing Yahushua, you would have believed Moses, right? Which shows you that what? In order for you to even have belief in Yahushua, right? You have to have some type of knowledge of Moses, because we know that Moses, even during this time, right? We know that a lot of the people, right, around Yahushua. So like you actually, let me get the precept. Let me let the precept talk, right? Let's go to John chapter 1 and verse number right 45. It says, Philip finding Nathanael and saith unto him, we have found him of whom Moses and the law and the prophets did write, Yahushua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. You see that? So Yahushua, essentially, it's like if Philip, he knew the law. He said, yeah, this man, he's lining up with the law. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 18. Okay, Khan. Yeah, this is Messiah right here. So it just goes to show you how many people during this time would say they knew the law, but they really didn't know the law, because if they knew the law and they knew Moses, they would have knew who Yahushua was. Because it says, Philip finding Nathanael and said unto him, we have found him of whom Moses and the law and the prophets did write. So Philip clearly knew that this was Yahushua in the spirit, and this was he whom the disciple, Slakia, the prophet that was like unto Moses, that Moses spoke about, right? But Slakia, let's go to Obadiah, right? To get a few more and close out the spirit. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse number 20, right? This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse number 20. It says, and the captain of this host, right? Hey, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Mashat. Khan, all praise to the Most High, right? Good to see brothers on the live, man, through the spirit, right? Hey, brothers is tired. You know what I'm saying? Brothers got things in the morning to do, but the work must go on. You know what I'm saying? The work must go on through the spirit. This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse number 20. And the captive, it's like in the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath. And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sephard, shall possess the cities of the south. And that word Sephard, Salakia, is where, Amalek gets the term Sephardic Jews, right? And they say, this location is, which is called Sepharad, if I'm saying that right, Salakia. But, this, this is called, or Salakia, they're saying that this location is Spain, with really no evidence to support that claim. But that's where, Amalek says, yeah, you know what I'm saying? According to this prophecy in Obadiah, 1 in verse 20, this location, yeah, this is talking about, the remnant of the Jews in Spain. So yeah, we're Sephardic Jews. Yeah, so that's us in the Bible, in the prophecy. Verse 20, verse 21. Well, we're not going to entertain that, because we know that Amalek is Amalek. The real Israelite, the real Jew, does not know his heritage, does not know his nationality. That's what the precepts say, right? So how does Amalek now, all these Amalekites, they know who they are. But the prophecies say that the curses are going to endure upon them forever until Yahweh shall come back, right? It doesn't make any sense, right? And Khan, brother said, Paul endured all manner of afflictions for this truth. Khan, that's right. That's right. Hey, not only Paul, but Peter, James, John, Andrew, Bartholomew, all the 12 apostles, Yahushua, right? All these men, these leaders of our nation, endured hardship and all manner of affliction for the Most High. So, Khan, that's right. Verse number 21. And saviors shall come up on the mount of Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. So there's going to be saviors to come up upon the mount of Esau to essentially judge the mount of Esau. And these saviors are talking about men that overcome this world. Because yeah, yes, you do have the savior, which is Yahushua, but you have saviors that are less than him. Just like you have the chief shepherd, you have lesser shepherds under him, which is talking about the prophets, the men, the apostles, the fathers, the teachers, right? The instructors. These are the shepherds. These are the saviors. Because the work that we're doing, it saves souls. Bringing people to the fold, that's saving souls. So in that case, in that sense, you're a savior, especially if you're a part of the elect, right? But it says, and Savior shall come up on the mount of Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's, man. Right? The kingdom shall be the Lord's. So yeah, Khan, with that, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Lord willing. This video was edifying unto you through the Spirit, right? And I'm closing out through the Spirit, right? Shabbat Shalom, man, to the 12. It's keeping it today. I'm going to end it off with Sirach, right, as we always do. Sirach chapter 51, right? Sirach chapter 51 and verse number 30. It says, work your work betimes, and in his time he will give you your reward. So we're working for that reward, man. All right. We're working for our reward, whether it be in this life or in the next. So with that, all praise to Yahweh Hashem, Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, Shabbat Shalom. Water for tuning in. Kwame Ashala, Shalom.